What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before I begin, I want to say thank you to each and every single one of you for helping to make this channel what it is becoming. The channel grows every day because of your continued support. If you like what you see and you enjoy the content, I'd really appreciate it if you would smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, hit the bell to receive notifications, and ultimately subscribe. Also, I have an eBay store called the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description of every single video and short that I upload here on YouTube. I want to say thank you to my friends, my family, my neighbors, my supporters, my eBay customers. You've all been absolutely wonderful people. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You know, as you know, these are very tough times these days for myself behind the scenes. I'm not going to get into too much of that particular subject in this video, but I want to say thank you regardless and despite that. So I wanted to get into some sports card talk because, you know, I watch guys like Scotty B, for example, and Teapot, and, you know, blabbing about slabbing and all that good stuff. And Scotty B tends to do this a lot. And I understand his modus operandi because I get that itchy finger, you know, or that itch in my hands every so often when I start, you know, scrutinizing my own personal collection. And there are times which I'm having right now, as a matter of fact. That's why recently I had the auctions that I had over at my eBay store and decided to release certain singles that I have because I'm constantly molding and fine-tuning my collection, you know, to where I'm comfortable with it. You know, I released a whole bunch of graded slabs from the Topps Mitchell and Ness set. It's not that they're bad cards. It's just, you know, for the type of collection I'm trying to build, I kept looking at it and scrutinizing it. And it's just, you know, certain cards I'm not interested in any longer. It's not that the cards or the players being represented by those cards are bad. It's just I have no further interest in them. You know, I sold off a Corbin Carroll 1010. I recently sold off a green logo fractor of Corbin Carroll's, you know, out of 99, even though he's having a bit of a resurgence. But I decided to keep the Topps Cosmic that I got. If you guys have been watching the channel, that's in my PC. And the red out of 5 from the Mitchell and Ness collection, I still have that in my PC. And to get a perfect 10 with the 2023 Topps Chrome Mitchell and Ness set, that is tough to do. So anybody that bought 10s off of me, you're very fortunate, man, because they are extremely difficult to gem. I mean, they were cut all over the place. So not saying that the 9s and the 9.5s and some of the 10s that I've sold off recently are bad players. It's just I don't have any interest in collecting those cards any longer. So I figure let somebody else enjoy them, and I can roll that right back into the hobby and, you know, use it for personal use and whatnot as far as the money is concerned. But I've been watching guys like Scotty B and blabbing about slab, and I'm sure many of you ladies and gentlemen of the biological type can appreciate this thought process where sometimes, you know, you want to refine your collection to such a point that sometimes you want to sacrifice certain cards to get others. I saw Scotty B talking about this recently. I believe he picked up what was it, a Mookie Betts Superfractor or something like that, and he got rid of like real heavy-duty hitting cards from his personal collection. He's known for doing that. You know, it's his cards. He could do what he wants, and I, for one, appreciate that because I'm finding myself doing that right now because if there are any cards that I want for my PC, I would love to get an Eli Manning auto, a rookie auto, or a rookie refractor or something like that. I would love to get a Mike Piazza rookie, an auto, a relic, parallel, something like that. I'd also love to get me a Gary Carter parallel, relic, auto, or a combination of the three. So those are cards that I really want to get in the future. I already got my Don Mattingly rookie, which has skyrocketed in price. Obviously, the Ken Griffey Jr. 89 Upper Deck. I was fortunate enough to get one of them for cheap. You know, I paid, $1,700 for that sucker. And now I'm seeing them being sold for $2,700 to almost $3,000 at this point. That's insane. Like one of the cards I happen to have right here, which is going to be part of this discussion. So let's get these out of here. By the way, these are autos and parallels that I really want to send off to get graded by SGC. And this is an example of me having to pick and choose which ones will I keep, which ones will I sell, which ones will I have graded. If I do have them graded, how much interest is it going to be in, or how much interest is there for me to keep them? I mean, there's all sorts of questions I'm asking myself right now. That Reese Hines is awesome right there, by the way. Junior Caminero Auto. I think this is an out of 25? No, this is out of 50. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. That Paul Molitor out of 50 is really nice too, by the way. Ellie De La Cruz X-Fractor. There's a pink. Brett Beatty's actually been making a resurgence lately with the Mets, man. The Mets, don't write them off, ladies and gentlemen. They're looking pretty good this season. I don't know. There's a Tessera auto right there, which is real nice as a Yankees fan. So I'm picking and choosing right now off camera what I want to submit, what I may keep, what I may sell. But I'm going through this right now, as a matter of fact, and you can probably see that little peekaboo right there. This is a good example of this. This is the 2018 Bowman Chrome Shohei Ohtani rookie card. I checked the population numbers on these guys. There's over 4,000 of these. They're currently going anywhere between $1,000 to approximately $1,400 to $1,500, depending on who's selling them. I bought mine for under $1,000, fortunately. That's my Shohei Ohtani 9.5, SGC 9.5. By the way, that's a PSA 10. That's an SGC 9.5 red color match, 1 out of 5 from Topps Chrome Lids, Mitchell & Ness. Obviously, it's a super short print. There's only 5 of these. There's one on eBay right now. The seller is selling his, and he has a PSA 10 for $2,000 or a best offer. The problem is when you go through his feedbacks, and he doesn't have many, or she doesn't have many. I don't know if it's a guy or a gal, but looking at the feedbacks from this seller, I highly doubt anybody is going to trust this seller with the type of feedbacks that they have to purchase that card for what they're asking for. And that's the beauty of the super short print. When you have a super short print like this, you can essentially set the price for whatever you want. I mean, if I was looking to sell this, which I'm actually considering these days, is I do got the Shohei Ohtani Bowman Chrome rookie. And again, I'm well aware of the population numbers. There are over 4,000 of these, according to PSA, in a PSA 10. And given the value of this guy, it leaves me in a conundrum. Because you got the super short print 1 out of 5 from 2023. You have his rookie card from 2018. It leaves you pondering, you know, which one would you sell? Which one would you keep? Would you keep the 2 of them? Excuse me. Would you take one of these in a trade for your true chase card? So say like if there was a really, really expensive, like I just mentioned, a Mike Piazza, or even if I wanted a Don Mattingly auto, a rookie card with his autograph on it, and they were like $3, $4, $5 I would probably offer that plus 2 or 3 other cards for trade, so I don't have to come out of pocket. But I'm saying that as more more of a imaginary scenario. You know what I mean? So, I've reached that point where I start looking at some cards and I'm like, okay, I just sold off that red Bryce Harper out of 5. Once the customer pays me, it'll be out the door. And I got out of it what I was expecting from that particular card price-wise. So I'm kind of pleased I got what I got out of it. And I pulled it right out of a pack. So, but if it came down to it, which one would you choose to keep or sell? Again, I'm aware of the population number of the Shohei Ohtani batting rookie card from Bowman. I know there's over 4,000 of them. You have a super short print. There's only 5 of these particular red border color matches in existence in this particular set. And anything with Shohei Ohtani, especially super short prints like this, they're going to be very expensive. For example, if I were to sell this based on the other one that's currently listed, I mean, again, I can set my own price to whatever I want. I would probably charge anywhere between $1,000 to $1,400 for this guy. I would not do this as an auction. I would do it as a buy it now. But again, we're talking $1,000 to $1,400 with this guy too, because Shohei Ohtani is Shohei Ohtani. I mean, he's a beast. It's just like Aaron Judge, the same thing, But we'll pass these guys up, and we'll take a look at 2 more cards from my PC that have been rattling my cage. This is the 2024 team border or team color border from Top Series 1 from last year. I had two of these. I believe one of them came out in SGC 9, and this one was an SGC 9.5. Obviously, I sold off the other one. And this did have several issues, which makes this grade fair because these particular cards are very hard to gem, simply put, because of the coloring. And I have one little divot right there on this corner. Unfortunately, you can see it right there. Otherwise, this would have been a perfect 10. So it's got that one little flaw in the corner right there. But I'm still happy to have this card. But I do have an Elly De La Cruz bookend 1 out of 25 Baseball Stars autograph. It's a sticker auto, unfortunately. I know how a lot of people feel about sticker autos. I don't like them either. You know, they could deteriorate over time and all that sort of thing. But this is a heavy-duty card. I mean, if I were to guess a price on this guy, and I'm just being conservative with my appraisal here, I'm going to say that this guy can be anywhere between SGC 9.5. I know how a lot of people feel about their slabs as well. I take that into consideration. Anywhere between 3 to 375, I would price this guy at. I think PSA 10s are going for $400 if I'm not mistaken. You guys can comment in the comments section below and correct me, of course, or offer your ideas. So I already have an awesome, high, heavy-hitting Elly De La Cruz, and the reason why this is a 9.5 also is the same reason, is because it's got a little bit of flaking on it, I believe, in the same corner as well. The camera may not pick it up, but when you have paper like this, sometimes they're extremely, extremely hard to gem. And right there, you can see that little nick in the corner. That's really what did it, and it could be argued that it's slightly off-center too. I did take the centering tool, so it's within, the 1010 limit, basically, but unfortunately on my card, it tends to favor the top just ever so slightly, so those things knocked it down to a 10 9.5. But still, this is a heavy-hitting card. I would have to estimate this card to be around anywhere between $500 to $700, maybe even more. So now that I have this, would I be willing to part with this? Do I keep them both? Do I sell the both of them? Obviously, I wouldn't sell that. This would be the sacrificial lamb. These are the kind of choices collectors have to make. If you want to chase that super card that you want, or if you want to dig into your own collection. Now, this one is obvious. I mean, I've talked about this card quite extensively because it's one of the biggest cards I've ever personally pulled. That's the Barry Bonds auto versus his 1987 rookie. Now, this is not the Tiffany. This is the standard set from back way when. And they're both great cards, historically speaking. We got Barry Bonds. I mean, what's to say about him? He was a beast in his time, regardless of all the stupid steroid nonsense and whatnot. I think he's paid his penance for all that. And I don't want to see him turn into a Pete Rose, is what I'm trying to say. And I made a video about that. By the way, YouTube is suppressing that video. Go back to that video and check it out. It's the video prior to this one. I'd really appreciate it if you would boost that video. And I said a lot of important things in there, I believe. When it comes to forgiveness, mercy, and dignity, I don't think the punishment fit the crime. I think it's stupid. But we're talking about this video now. But go back and check out that video. But, it's Barry Bonds. Obviously, this is a much heavier hitting card than this guy is. I've seen the base auto raw go for $1,000 in auction. I think one of them sold for $900 and something dollars. I've seen them listed as high as $1,100 to $1,200. The parallels of these guys are going anywhere between $1,400 to $1,600 to $1,800. It all depend. $1,400, $1,600 to $1,800. Correct. Sorry, I get tongue tied sometimes. So, they're going for heavy duty prices. It's because Barry Bonds hasn't done any autos in years. So it's no wonder why fans are chasing after this guy. I've had people message me wanting me to sell this to them. But again, this is one of those times where it's like, okay, now that I got this giant monster base auto of his, that's a 10 8.5, and I have no problem with that grade. I discussed this on the channel. It's a fair grade because it is off-centered, back and front, so there's nothing to complain about. Even though the card itself is flawless, it's the centering that really, really changed, the grade on this guy, so I'm not going to harp on that. That autograph, to me, means more than that thing being centered. Most guys don't feel that way. Most gals don't feel that way. I do. This to me is, forget it. But let's just say, if I chose to, what would you do? Would you keep both? Would you sell that? Would you sell? I mean, obviously, I think most people would say, yeah, sell that auto. But if I wanted to thin out my collection just a little bit, and I take these guys, so I'll put the heavy hitters on the left, and I want to say lower end cards on the right. I mean, what would you do in this scenario? Would you keep the big guys and sell off the smaller cards, the small end cards or low end cards? Excuse me. What would you do? Let's see if I can get these into camera view here. You know what? I think it's better if I do this. Let's put the heavy hitters on top, and then we'll put the lower end guys on the bottom. So what would you do in this case if you were me? Again, this is hypothetical. This isn't, I mean, I may part with these guys. I'm not sure. I'm debating it. Don't start frothing at the mouth just yet. If I do decide to sell any of these three, because there's some other cards that I want to sell first, but if I personally wanted to sell off cards here that are below their top dogs, you know, obviously Shohei Ohtani rookie card, you can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with an LE auto, even though it's a sticker auto. The Barry Bonds speaks for itself. But, you know, I got the super short print. I got the team border. We got a Barry Bonds from 87, PSA 10. What would you do in this scenario? Let me know in the comments section below, you know, because there's certain cards that I'm targeting. Again, I would love to get one of several cards. A Don Mattingly auto. I would love to get a Gary Carter auto. I'll be honest with you, I'm really not too interested in relics unless they were autos. Like I had a Corbin Carroll Bowman Platinum that I sold off recently. It was a 10-10, but it didn't interest me anymore. It was one of the first cards I had graded. And if you want to talk about value, I mean, Corbin Carroll is kind of having a resurgence, but I just have no interest in collecting his cards anymore, which is why I sold off almost every one of them, except for the Topps Cosmic that I have that I got from Topps in that, you know, ridiculous exchange from, you know, last year. I think all of you got pissed off what Topps did. So I appreciate the support. You know, you guys really stepped up to the plate and let Topps have it. You know, and I sent them a link to that video, and then that's when they sent me that Cosmic Auto. And you guys saw what they did for me recently. That Babe Ruth Hidden Gems was all screwed up, and here's the replacement, basically beat for beat. So that's like a $200 Babe Ruth. I can't wait to get this guy submitted to SGC. I'd love to see what this is going to turn out to be. I have a feeling it may come back a 9 or a 9.5, something like that. Because I did put the centering tool. The problem is I can't really see. There should be a number underneath that label. But I think one of you actually told me that not to pull that sticker off or pull that label off. Let them do that. So good advice. But there should be a number underneath the sticker of this particular card. So it'll probably be like HG dash something something. So. But anyway, yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments, what would you do if you were in a situation like this? You know, if you're looking into the future and you didn't want to come out of pocket and you had certain cards that you know you can live without versus cards that you know you're never going to be able to replace again. In particular, these three up on top. Or if you wanted a card that was so important to you to add to your collection, would you sacrifice all of them? Would you sacrifice one of them? Let me know in the comments section below, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, until then, thank you so much for your support, your viewership. Take care. God bless. Stay safe. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications, and also check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. Link is in the description box below. I will be listing some more cards. As a matter of fact, I have another pile of them off to the side here, which I'll show quickly. So some of my eBay customers can get a jump on these. I've decided to let go of the King Griffey Jr. pink parallel because I've got his rookie, you know, the Upper Deck 89 star rookie, so I'm willing to part with this guy. I have an idea what I'm going to comp him for. So you got Dylan Cruz paper, Evan Carter rated prospect. We got just, you know, random gold and gold foils in there, some X-Fractors, what have you. I know there's a lot of Aaron Judge fans out there that have been buying a lot of Aaron Judge off me recently, so I'll be releasing some of them. I might release 1 or 2 autos from that pile I just showed you in the beginning of this video. It all depends. Let's see how I feel. But anyway, that's that. Take care. I'll see you all very soon.